Hey, Amanda.
Okay, hello.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello.
I think in the, oh, there's Devin.
Hey, there we go.
I think I've lost half the people that were on. Because there's only 2 of you left, and I think we had 4 of you before. And I should know your name, but
It's Franklin.
Franklin. Yeah, I know.
I let Weston know that he can come back on now.
Okay, thank you.
I'll let Chris know.
And I will see if it will let me log in through the problem was that I tried to log in through the Linux machine and it threw me out of the other one, even though I'm using a different account. I don't know why, don't ask me. Try this again. Now we'll even start. Seven, 6, 3, 2, 6, 9. 1, 9, 2. Okay, so hey, we're on. So, can you get on the? Are you on the Zoom?
I can, but I was going to try jumping onto the Linux and I can't connect to the internet with my laptop.
Oh, they've been having wicked I mean, I'm on. For whatever reason, the switch that this room is serviced by is allowing internet access, but not my emcc.edu access. So we've been able to log in. Now, one of the things you could also do is unplug the Ethernet from the machine right above you, the cable, and plug it into your machine.
Okay.
You probably have an Ethernet jack on yours. And see if that works. The only reason why is it might be easier in the long run than me trying to get this up and running again, because we just lost almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can hear me anyway. But okay, so we've got Devin, Amanda, and hopefully we got Franklin in-house. So there's a couple of things I wanted to try to cover. Let me see if I can get a little of it open from here. Should be able to. Thank you all for your patience.
Wait, my audio is not coming through. Okay, yes it is.
All right, and I'm gonna go shut the door because we're picking up the classroom across the hall too. So there's a couple of things that I want to do today. And I'm going to try to do it sharing from my Linux box here. Turn off a couple of these screens. I've been running into nothing but problems trying to get 3 different computers all running the Zoom at the same time in the same place. So let me find what, share this. So hopefully you can see, I've got projects that we're going to work on. Zoom in a little bit so it's bigger. There we go. Hey, Amanda, can you see a document that says projects at the top of it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna run through some of the steps so that you can see how to use the Linux terminal to be both an email client and to use it as a web browser. Now, there's nothing great about were you able to get on, Franklin?
Not really.
Okay. Yes. Who's
I
got
hate babies.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
'Give me a second, I'm just trying to help Franklin get online. So Zoom is already in. Oh, yeah, good. Mute it the moment it comes in. Yeah. I'm gonna read the numbers off here. No hyphens or anything, but it's gonna be, 763 269 192. See if that'll let you in. Okay. Okay, can you see my desktop, or is it slowly thinking?
Slowly. All you can see is the
Oh, sorry, there we go.
no.
All right, so the 2 projects, one is to use a Linux terminal as an email client. A client in email is the one that you're used to using, whether it's Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo Mail. Those are all what they call clients, which is different than an email server. And the world of email is made up of clients and servers. When you interact with the server, it says, hey, Franklin, here's your emails. And your email client can do one of 2 things. It can either download those emails and keep them locally, or keep them on the server and you just see them every time you log in. And it says, yep, here they are still. Yep, here they are still. Most people leave it on the server because if you download them to one computer, you can't then go and access them at another computer because they've already been downloaded to the first one. So anyway, the client is really what's designed to allow you to interact with the server. Now, a lot of email servers also run Linux. That's a separate issue for another day. So that's one of the projects, and these will be, everybody's job is going to be to go out and look how to do this. This is one of those cases where, hey, Google it, check out a couple of sites, watch 3 or 4 different videos. I almost guarantee you're going to run into obstacles. And that's where you have to type in, gosh, I'm getting the following error message. How do I get through it? And then the second one that we're going to do, and I'm actually going to start with that, and that's to use your terminal as a web browser. And I think I started to say it's one of the worst web browsers in the world, but what it allows you to do, I'm going to go back to, let me zoom in a little bit on the screen here so I can get graphical. It didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. Oops, wrong. All right, so we've got this terminal window that we've been using. It's not the end of the world, it's not the beginning of the world, but it's a very powerful place that allows you to access everything else in the computer world. We can use this to do file commands, which we've been working with a little bit. We can do directory commands. We can do text editing. We can do user changes. We can change users, or we can actually change properties of the users. Almost everything about your accounts on your computer are being held in text files, either as plain text or as encrypted files. And you can access those with different utilities. And so, you know, if you wanted to go change the user settings for, I'm picking on Franklin because he's the only one sitting here. So if Franklin's got an account on this system, then there's a set of files that are associated with Franklin that tell the computer what can Franklin do, what space does he own, how much, what are his user permissions, which directories can he access, is he a super user as in an administrator, or is he just a regular user? All of that stuff is kept in a set of files. So if you can access them, which a super user or administrator would have access to, and you can edit them, you can change all those permissions. And you can do all of this through the graphical user interface, but what we're trying to show you is that all of this can be done all the way down at the command level, and we can start writing short programs or scripts that access and do all of that work for us, and before you know it, you've built up a graphical user interface that can do all of the same things. So today what we're going to do is, well, and one other thing would be to run applications. The only difference is, of course, the applications here are, for the most part, non-graphical. They are textual based. Some of them require it to be on the one and only line that you can work with, while others allow you to give you a variety of lines and then let you scroll up and down, move around using different cursor methods. So there's a couple of commands that we're going to do. Who remembers what sudo is?
Administrator, you can search, I can't words, dude. You get what I mean, right?
But if you can
Like
give it to me in binary, that's fine too.
I
So
don't know, man.
anytime you see SU, it usually means super user.
Yeah.
So if you're not already in a super user level, then you can say super user do. And that literally means super user do this. So that's one of the commands we're going to use. You also have apt-get. And you've got install, update. The command that we're going to, the application that we're going to install is going to be something called links, L-Y and X. It's all lowercase, but, and I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. Don't you love it? Remember to hit record, Tom. Oh, it is recording, good. I don't know why this one starts and the other one didn't, but, so if you see me in a set of instructions, and if I write instructions out either in Google Documents or in Word, what does it do at the beginning of every single line? If I was to write sudo, what's the autocorrect going to write that as?
I'm too scared to answer.
No, that's all right. First line, it's only if you type it at the very beginning of a line. It's going to type it as a capital S-U-D-O, which is not a valid command in Linux. So keep things in mind. If you see, if you say, oh, Tom said to write, sudo apt-get install Linux, or links, sorry. If I write this, well, and then Word does this, makes that a capital S, you type it all in, it's going to come back with an error. And that's when your brain needs to kick on and say, oh, I know what he's talking about. I'm trying to catch it when it does this. I literally go in and I turn all the caps off for the entire thing, but then, of course, you get into some place where you need to put a cap in, and you have to turn it back on again. So just remember, almost all of Linux commands are lowercase. So if, how many of you can access a Linux desktop right now? Or,
yes.
So I'm going to switch over to that on mine. I'm going to share that screen so it's bigger.
So you want us to go onto our Linux thing?
Yep, if you've got a window that you can do. Let me close the background. There we go, that's a little better. I happen to be logged in on this machine, and I am an administrator, so I already have super user permissions. But if I wanted to, which one is it? Yeah. It was exit. Who am I? I am, okay. So I already am the root. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do sudo, super user is going to do this. I'm going to do the apt-get, which is, it literally goes out and looks at the directories to get an application. Now the first thing, and I know it's on, make sure that your computer is connected to the internet and it has access. On our campus here, sometimes that means opening a browser, waiting for that Fortinet, login screen, logging in, and then closing that back out. Otherwise, it's going to come up with errors. Then I'm going to do install, and I'm going to do links.
I think it's actually apt get.
Oh, yeah, sorry. There we go. Now it's going to remove it, or sorry, install it. Ready state, sorry, I keep forgetting I have a touch screen. If you install it, it's likely going to be a little bit longer than that. I can also do a links update. Yes, accept the cookies. Oh, that wasn't quite where we wanted to go.
Okay, I did it and it had a bunch of text and I don't want to read it because I don't understand, but I put yes to install.
Yep, and that's all you needed to do.
Yay. Okay.
Did yours get installed? Or?
I can't connect to the internet.
Oh, right. Sorry. Sometime soon we're going to have Linux on all these machines. Can you see what I'm doing though?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to links and I'm going to type in, actually I'm going to just start with links by itself. And what its default is, if I just run that, it's going to take me to the links homepage. So I just got served up a website about links. This is not a file on my computer. This is what it just got off the internet. And I can, scroll down and up.
Quick
Sure.
question. I'm sorry. What did you do when it said forbidden?
When it said what?
Forbidden. 403 forbidden.
So when you just typed in links, you got a forbidden command?
Well, I updated it. I put links update.
Actually, you know what? That was the wrong. Let me try this one. No, that's the wrong one too. Wrong one.
Yeah, I got the same one.
Yeah. Shoot, why am I missing the boat here? I'll go look. Give me a second. Updating a program in Linux terminal. Example. I'll be right back. I'm just. Sudo apt-get dist upgrade. Okay, so go back over. So it should be sudo apt-get update links. Oh, come on. No. Update. Well, fine. Don't update it right now. I just did this, and it's one of those. Why aren't I finding it? Well, my apologies. I mean, it was there a second ago. So
It's okay.
If we go back to the terminal, if we do links, which is calling the application, do a space, and links is expecting a a variable in the form of a web address or an IP address. I'm going to just leave it blank. Oops, sorry, I'm going to leave it blank so that I go to the links home page. That's the default. And so I can now, using the arrows, move around and look at different, there's not much on this page, but I can go to the development site. I could actually send an email. I can go to the list of anybody who's done inquiries. I'm just going to go back up to, oh, come on, you can do it. I think I got into this subscribe. I don't want to be there. There we go. There we go. About links. Now if I hit return, it's going to go to the about links page, fully featured, www. So I'm just going to hit Q though. And it says, do you want to quit? And I'm going to say yes. And I back out to my main page and clear it. Then I'm going to type in links, www.google.com. Now, this is a case where Google wants to know about cookies. I can do Y for yes, N for no, A for always, or V for never. As far as the cookies go, I'm just going to hit V. Now we're on the Google.
Wait, what's V? I'm sorry.
Oh, it was because they used N for no. They couldn't use N for never, so they used V for never.
Okay.
If you go to the page, it's going to have.
This thing looks ugly.
Well, it is. It has a purpose, and that's all we're going to do with it. And that is that you can use this to get information, and in a real-time manner.
Yes.
And this is one of the ways that browsers get that information. Now they don't use links, but they have their own method. So again, I'm going back just to show you, Amanda. Is if I do that links space www.google.com, hit enter, the next thing that pops up is Google would like us to allow it or not allow it to use cookies.
Oh, so I see the V is capitalized.
Yes. Just like if you look up at the bar at the top where it says File, Edit, View, Search, Terminal, and Help, the F, the E, the V, the S, the T, and the H are all letters that can be used to access file menus without a mouse.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
And that's true in Windows too. It just predates, it goes back to the days before mice when everything had to be done by keystroke. And if you had up at the top save and search, then you couldn't use S for both of them. So you might make S for save and E for search, and what you do is you type it out as little s, capital E, little a, little r, little c, little h. And that would tell the user which letter of that word was the key that was going to allow you to access it. And that's why you see never with a capital V, and I'm going to pick never. And I don't even have to put capital V, I just need to put V.
Okay.
Now it asks Google again, yes, please give us everything. So you can see, I can use the, and it gives you down below, use right arrow or return to activate, and the arrow keys for up and down, and the right to follow a link, and a left to go back. So if I want to go to the right, I actually am going to use tabs. And then I can use Shift tab to go back. is if I use the arrow keys, it doesn't quite do what I want. Because this is not a graphical user, I'm not going to go look for images. I'm just going to do a standard search. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to go down to the search right there. Let's see, what can we search for? We'll search for Montana. Probably got Hannah. What would be something very unique? Michael Douglas. Why? Because we just watched, a movie with Michael Douglas. Now I can use the enter to select it, do Google search, accept invalid cookie path, blah, 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 no. There it goes. I'm not sure about those. So there were 523 million results with Michael Douglas in it. Not too surprising. He's been an actor for almost his entire life, and he's 74 years old or whatever. And if you go down, you can find right underneath there, this is the #1 search, which would be Michael Douglas in Wikipedia. And so we're going to go there. Give it a second. It's going to ask us cookies again. Come on. All right, and then you get into the actual page. So if I go back over to, let me show my desktop just so you can see. So I'm just going to go and open up Wikipedia. Sorry. I hate it when the little Zoom thing was in the way. So we're going to go to Wikipedia. Going to look at Michael Douglas. So there's Michael Douglas. Now let me put it side by side.
Hold up, it's like slow, or it's stuck on the projects thing.
Oh, all right, give it a second. Or not. Let me reshare it. There you go. So you'll see up here, you've got Michael Douglas is the title from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. This is the latest accepted, well, that doesn't show, but for the talk show host, see Mike Douglas. For other people, name Mike Douglas, see, Mike Douglas disambiguation. So you can see what you're seeing here is also displayed on the terminal. It would not be, and you can press space bar to go down. So you've got all of the information, all of the text, links inside the text, early life, career, personal life, and on, all the way down to the bottom. So other than the fact that all of the images are going to be links to images, we'll go up and see if we can find the link to his picture there. Page down 1. Yeah, I don't see where the, I don't see where the actual picture is. So sorry about that. But there should be a link in there for that. I'm probably just missing it. Well, actually, I can see it is probably, so there it is right there. Michael Douglas, Duville 2013.jpg. If I could open it, I mean, I could hit enter, but it's a file, you know, which it's not going to let me view in the terminal. But so everything that's on the website is available as a text file. If you've taken the HTML course with Hal, you've probably already been exposed to this, that everything that you look at is a text file with links in it to files that show you the pictures. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. Although the cool thing is that I could go up here in the browser and type in copy image address, go up here and put in just the address, which is at Wikipedia, comments, thumb, for this, you know, and all the different things to get all the way out to it, and hit return, and there's the picture all by itself. So you can view pictures in a browser that supports images by itself. You just can't, you know, do it together in a non-graphical browser. So go back over here. So that's how we get a browser installed and operating. It's not that difficult. What your homework is, and what I'll email out to everybody else, is to do the similar with trying to get it set up to send an email. I have set up a dummy email that you can send things to, or if you can get it to work, you can just send tbickford@emcc.edu an email from your terminal. It will require you to probably install either SendMail. Sorry, what?
No, sorry.
So there's a couple of programs that are available. So just like Lynx is a browser, so Lynx equals a browser. We have SendMail, and we have SSMTP, and these are both email apps. I'm not telling you which one will work better. You're going to go out to YouTube, watch a few videos. You're going to remember when you go to search, though. It's important to say something like installing SSMTP on Linux Mint, and that'll get you someplace. If you just say Linux, one of the problems is that there's a number of different versions of Linux. There's Ubuntu, Red Hat, and if you're not in the correct one, you may end up with a slightly different set of applications. Because Linux Mint is a version of Ubuntu, you could also probably say Ubuntu and it would get you the correct directions. But luckily there's a bazillion video files on YouTube, so why not just go look for, see if somebody's put that. So again, remember, you could put Ubuntu here, and you probably are going to get something that works. If you just leave that off, it may or may not work. You could also try, something more general. You don't have to use SendMail or SSMTP, and this is a simple mail transfer protocol, and this should be a secure, simple mail transfer protocol. Every time you send an email, you're using this, no matter whether you're using Gmail, whether you're using Outlook or any of the others. This is the protocol that computers use to send messages. We're just using it inside the terminal window. You could also do, how to send email from, a Linux terminal. In Windows, we call this a command window. In Linux, we call it a terminal. Same exact thing. Matter of fact, half the commands are the same. So, questions?
Nope.
So those were the two things. I will have that. I'll have the directions up, and before 5 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock now, and I'm going to release you. So the two assignments you have that everybody will have by Tuesday will be to get the ability to send an email from within your terminal, and also get the ability to view a website within your terminal. One of the cool things you can do, I forget if it's with either or both of these, is if you make if you make a file and call it, Tom email .text. In other words, I have a set of text that I want to email out to people, lines of text. However I want to set it up. You can use these to send to so-and-so and include this, so that you don't have to type out 500 lines to 500 people. You would just have the ability to do that. Couple of things. If you try to send this through Gmail, it may bounce it back with an error about security permissions, because the security permissions that these use are lower than what Gmail requires at its current state in order to accept or reject. In which case you may have to temporarily go back into Gmail and say accept simple, text files. Part of your goal is to learn about, I would start with links because it's one of the most popular ones, and I would start with either SendMail or SSMTP. Learn about those. Find out how to set them up. What are their commands that you can use with them? How do you do the simple stuff? How do you do some of the more complex things? This is a half a week's homework assignment, so put some time into it. And that's it. And the directions I'll have online within the hour will say, this is your end goal. You need to be able to send me this kind of an email, and you need to be able to go online and do the browser. I should have these computers in the lab set up with Linux, hopefully by Tuesday. So on Tuesday, I might ask you to pop in here and do the same thing as an in-class lab. And that's it, unless you have questions.
Nope. Thank you.
You all set, Devin? Oh, and Christopher's on there? Anybody else? Oh, sorry, I see there's some chats. I didn't catch the chats.
I have one question.
Sure.
So obviously Links is a package you install, but is the email service another package or does it just come with Links?
No, it's a different one. So Links is what you install. You'll have to install either SendMail or SSMTP.
Okay.
So they're going to be similar. This is where you're going to go online, find the directions with all their variables. Don't just try the first one because I almost guarantee you, if you go searching for how to send email from a Linux terminal, you're going to get 8 different pages. There are 100 different pages, all with slightly different things. That's why you can also say how to send email from a Linux Mint terminal, and that'll narrow it down a little bit. Karen,
Okay.
before you log out, I forgot to write down who's here. Get the full credit for that, right? Amanda.
Diaz.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Okay.
Isaiah, Kelvin, Christopher, well, Weston. Well, I know Devin's on there. Where are you, Devin?
I think he just left to go to his meeting.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Devin. And we got Franklin. Anybody else? Cool. Go out. Was he candidate to join the audio? Yes, 6 p.m. which is fine. Thank you for, helping Kelvin out or Kelvin figuring out the audio. Sorry I didn't see that. It's hard to do all the things all at the same time. So I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
I do have one question that's to the Linux on my computer.